Good morning and happy Monday. Welcome to Mindful Mornings with Minnassa. Welcome to the last 3 days of January. And so we began this month together, setting the foundation, 10 days of self-care, making that commitment to ourselves to prioritize our self-care. And as we move forward and make our resolutions and goals, that they would be based on the foundation of coming from a place of self-worth, self-love, and of course, self-care. And then we did new beginnings. That you one choice away from new beginnings, right? That any time can be a new beginning. And now as we come to these last 3 days, the 29th, 30th, and the 31st, I really want to practice on. So we've got this foundation of self-care. We're going to be open to and creating new beginnings. What are my next steps? How do we move forward to take all this together with us? And so I want to talk about a spiritual practice, that making sure that just like you take time to feed yourself, that you take time to feed your soul. And that is feeding your spiritual self, your consciousness, making sure that the true you, the eternal you, is being fed as well, and that it becomes a consistency, something that you do every day. Just like most people don't go days and days without eating, but you can go days and days without meditating, or days and days without reading something sacred. Say, well, we're here with you. That's good, and I love it, and thank you, but you also need to have a way to feed yourself, to fill yourself up when we're not here together. So I want to talk about spiritual practice, spiritual practice. Today I'm reading from the Daily Word. I stand tall in truth and am protected. Sometimes I may feel swayed by the changing winds of worldly experience, tossed about and shaken by unexpected developments. I may feel at the mercy of circumstances beyond my understanding or control, untethered and unprotected. When this happens, I stand tall and strong in spiritual truth. After all, no adversity can outlast God, the one presence and power active in the universe and active as my life. The truth is my shelter, my refuge, and my protection. I return to this understanding again and again, as often as I need to, until I feel safe and secure in the divine. I am protected. In the past, I may have worried, I may have cried, I may have trembled in fear. Now I live in full awareness of the power and strength of the divine, which is always mine to draw upon. And ends with this little verse. If God is for us, who is against us? And you know I'm not talking about some magical man in the sky, but that the divine part of ourselves, if we connect to that every day, if we step into the power of who we are, co-creators with the divine, spiritual entities having an amazing human experience, that we can live and create a life that is joyful, prosperous, abundant, peaceful, relaxing, ease, flow, and full of grace. But it comes from understanding or having a knowing that this physical self is a temporary house, a beautiful one, for my true eternal self, and that what I'm doing in this life is creating from that connection with my true self, my eternal self. So a spiritual practice would do things to help you connect with your intuition. Spiritual practice could be meditation, a time where you're still, or a mindfulness where you take a walk and you notice things around you so that you can be in this present moment. A spiritual practice could be connecting to your breath, taking that time that before you walk into your work or before you sit down with your computer to do something, you become present in this moment. A spiritual practice is being conscious of how you live, move, and impact this world. A spiritual practice is knowing that we are one, and that communicating, interacting, and reacting based on that spiritual knowing. A spiritual practice is living as a person who is connected with the divine at all times, a creator, a healer, a restorer, And that spiritual practice can begin again with something as simple as taking 3 breaths before you leave the house, taking 3 yogic breaths before you enter your place of work, your place of worship, the grocery store. It can be reading inspiring materials like um, Was It Comfortable with Uncertainty by Pema Chodron, reading What I Know for Sure by Oprah, reading something by Michael Beckwith, whoever you find inspirational, taking time to meditate, to pray. But it is important, as I'm encouraging, as we step into this new year, to make your spiritual practice a part of what you do. I don't have one. Well, here's the time. These last 3 days to begin to look about those ways that you can feed your spiritual self. I'm glad you're here. Have a beautiful day.